Today in Make and Drink, we're going to make two more cocktails from Smuggler's Cove that both use the hibiscus liqueur that we recently used to make the hibiscus rum punch. Both of these drinks are in the book if you want to follow along. Both of them are Smuggler's Cove original cocktails, and we'll be making For Pete's Sake and the Roselita. And if you don't have the hibiscus liqueur ready to go right now, you can watch this video right here that'll show you how to make the hibiscus liqueur as well as the hibiscus rum punch. We're gonna jump right into our first cocktail, which is For Pete's Sake, and for this one, you'll need angostura bitters, lime juice, demerara syrup, hibiscus liqueur, cherry heering, and a Peruvian Pisco. For any of the recipes that I share here that call for a specialty syrup, I'll either show you how to make that syrup, I'll put up the recipe on the screen, or I will put the recipe in the episode's description. So for this one, we're doing a pretty basic demerara syrup that I've already made and already have. So I will share with you in the episode's description, and it will be at the very bottom of the description. So let's make For Pete's Sake, which we will build in a drink mixer tin, starting with 1 dash of angostura bitters, 3/4 ounces of lime juice, 1/2 ounce of demerara syrup, 1/2 ounce of our Smuggler's Cove hibiscus liqueur, 1/2 ounce of cherry heering, 1.5 ounces of a Peruvian Pisco. Add 12 ounces of ice to a drink mixer tin and flash blend this for 5 seconds. Open pour into an old-fashioned glass. I'm going to garnish this with a cherry and a lime twist. I'm fairly certain I have never had this drink before, and that bottle of cherry heering that I used, I've had for at least 8 years. So it is intensely cherry heering. I think the cherry heering kind of overpowers even the hibiscus liqueur, but it is it's a nice refreshing change of pace to typical rum drinks. The Pisco I used, it's a good Pisco, but it's kind of like a basic Pisco, and it gets a little bit lost in the background there. But I think altogether, it's like a nice, refreshing summer drink. You get the big cherry flavor. I want to be clear that I do like this. There's a depth of flavor here that is unusual for most of the drinks that I do that are tropical or tiki or exotic. The hibiscus liqueur, it's a little bit lost, it's a little bit overwhelmed by the cherry heering. I think if you don't like cherry, that big robust cherry flavor, I don't think you're really gonna love this one. Now, Smuggler's Cove has this thing called the Voyager card, where you get little punches in your card for every cocktail you try. They have, I think, over 75 cocktails on the card. I've got a ways to go, but I've really been focusing on, I think, the unique rum cocktails that I want to try, and kind of avoiding things like this or more basic drinks that we're kind of used to, like painkillers, trade winds. But I like this. It's a nice change of pace, and it's good to see a bar that is so heavily focused on rum and rum cocktails spend the time to develop other cocktails. And I like that we made that hibiscus liqueur, but we're not stuck with just using it in one drink. There are, I think, 3 or 4 drinks in the book that call for the hibiscus liqueur. And while I do think you need to be someone who really enjoys this cherry flavor, if you like Pisco, if you like the hibiscus liqueur, I think you should try it. I think that you will enjoy it. So let's move on now to the Roselita. And for the Roselita, you will need soda water, Peychaud bitters, lime juice, orgeat, hibiscus liqueur, pear liqueur, and a column still aged rum. The Smuggler's Cove recipe calls for a basic pear liqueur, and I'm using the spiced pear liqueur from St. George. No real particular reason. I just got this bottle, something I just wanted to get. And the main difference here is this is a Bartlett pear liqueur, but they do add cinnamon and clove, so there's going to be a little bit of a spice factor there that is not in the Smuggler's Cove recipe. So if I was you going out and buying a bottle, I would suggest maybe just getting a regular pear liqueur, or if you already have one, but I just wanted this one. So start by building this in your small shaker tin with 1 dash of Peychaud bitters, half an ounce of lime juice, half an ounce of orgeat, half an ounce of hibiscus liqueur, half an ounce of our pear liqueur, 1.5 ounces of a column still aged rum. I'm using Angostura 7 for this one. Shake the cocktail for 5 to 10 seconds. Add 1.5 ounces of soda water to your glass. We're going to strain our cocktail into our glass. And top with either cracked ice or, in this case, nugget ice. Let's taste the Roselita. I like that. You're getting the rum, getting the pear. I'm not really picking up the orgeat, but I'll say the look is a little different. It has this milky, pinkish consistency. It doesn't taste like that. It drinks like a normal, like rum Collins cocktail. And I think if you're new to the Smuggler's Cove book, some things might seem a little confusing. Putting soda into your drink mixer tin before you mix it. That's intentional. This one, even I think a little more unusual, where you're putting your soda into the glass first, then we're straining into it with new ice on the top. And sometimes I think, especially when we use club soda or seltzer water, we often think of it as being this really carbonated fizzy drink, and that's not always the case. That's not always the intention of that drink. Sometimes it's just dilution. Sometimes it's just adding a little bit of body and texture. It's not always to get you those intense bubbles. And if you go to Smuggler's Cove, they have one of the big bottles for seltzer water that they are using to put into their tins. And when you use those big bottles, you know, those vintage ones, they don't have a vintage one, but the ones with the cages on them, those aren't really the best thing at getting something really fizzy. Anyways, you lose a lot of the carbonation as it's just pouring out of the bottle. But I didn't come up with these cocktails, and I have to imagine that they spent a lot of time working on the cocktails for this book, and that there's a purpose behind all of these different methods. I don't want to call it a Mai Tai riff, but we do have lime juice, orgeat, and rum, but that pear liqueur, the hibiscus liqueur, it definitely sends the drink in a totally different direction. And it's something new, and it's something interesting, and it's not quite like anything I've ever had before, and I do think it's really good. But the only correction I would make, the only thing I would change here, I would use a different rum, try to find something that packs a little more punch. The Angostura 7. Sometimes I just use things because the book has a system and they call for different numbers. And if I have a rum in that sort of classification system that maybe is one I'm not always grabbing, I like to use it. I think Angostura 7's a fine rum, but I think that this would be maybe even better with something that has just a little more punch. I don't really know exactly what that is. Maybe a Jamaican rum. But if you do want to try this, I would suggest trying it as it's called out in the book or the recipe that I'll leave below, and then modifying it from there if you want to. Or just try them side by side. This one is like, it is an intense burst of cherry flavor. We have now knocked out 3 of, I think, just 4 cocktails in the book that call for the hibiscus liqueur, and we will get to the last one another time. That's it for this one. I'm Derek. This is Make and Drink. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you want to, and otherwise, see you on the next one.